Hello guys and welcome to Tech Toffee. Now what we can do is we can further improve our function. Any number which is not divisible by any prime number is also a prime number. So we can have that information and use that. Since we already have a list of prime numbers, we can use that list here. We can move this for loop to a separate function. We can create a private function called is in prime list, something like that. You can have a better name, and will return it will return a boolean whether it's a prime or not. So whichever number will pass, it will get the mod of that from a prime number, and then we'll see if it's a divisible by prime number, then it's not a prime number. So it will return a boolean class object. So here we'll return true or false. So if it's a prime number, we'll return a true, otherwise we'll return false. And now we'll leverage this function instead of doing calculation. We can have here an if function. This function, this dot is in prime list, and can have I. So if the prime number is in prime list returns us true, then it's a prime number, and we will add it to the prime numbers list. Let's give it a better name. We'll call this as is prime number. Okay, so if it's a prime number, now this function name is also better. Now if we run the test, we can see that still all tests are passing, since we did nothing but refactor our code. We created a function. But currently the problem we have is we are only checking if a number is prime from range 2 to 1000. What if the number is a really big number? Then how we are going to handle that situation? So what we are going to do here is we are going to create a constructor and pass this logic there. So it will calculate all the prime numbers at the time of class initialization only, and this function will return us the result in order of one time. That is very less time it will take, since we already have everything stored at the time of construction of object. But here we can see that our constructor is getting executed before every function. So we have to make a simple change in our tests, and that change will be instead of using before, we have to use before class, and we have to make this prime numbers as static. So what this will do is this will only create our object once before execution of all functions. So now if we run our unit tests, we can see here that everything is executed, and it took 1719076 microseconds, that is like 1.71 seconds, 72 basically approximate, to actually calculate the first 1 lakh, I think it is, yeah, 1 lakh prime numbers we calculated here. So here as we know that it is microseconds, so we are changing it to µs, since the ms is for milliseconds. Now what we can do to improve the time further? Is there a way to further improve the execution time? So here now we are checking that if you want to find the 9999 9999th prime number, what should be the result here? So now if we run it, we'll get the response. So we'll run this individual test and see that what is the response that is being expected here. So as you can see here, that index is out of bound because we are passing as 998 and the length is 9952. So that is because we are checking 1 lakh prime number, but that number 9999 might be even greater. So what we can do in this case is we can add one more zero and then test it. If prime numbers dot size is greater than, say we want the first 1 lakh or 10,000 prime numbers, so we will break it. So we will not calculate it any further. So now if we run it, we are able to get the 999 prime number, which is 104723. So we can change our test accordingly since we know that our logic is correct. Now if we run anything is, we can rename our unit test 104723 and we can run again. And now we can see that all tests are passed. Now the point comes here is, can we further improve it? Because here we are checking every number from 2 to say now 10 lakhs, but we don't need to check every number. So we just need to, instead of checking the first 10 lakh prime numbers, we need to check only if the size of the prime numbers is 10,000. If it is greater than or equal to 10,000, we will break it. That all our test cases are passed. So can we now improve our function any further? Can we improve the execution time? So yeah, it's still possible. So how it is possible is, so if we see that prime numbers, what are the prime numbers? There is 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17. So the pattern that you see here is after 5, the prime numbers are either at +2 or at +4 level. So 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 4 is 11, 11 plus 2 is 13, 13 plus 4 is 17, 17 plus 2 is 19, 19 plus 4 is 23. Now till 23 this pattern follows, but after 23, 23 plus 2 is 25, which is not a prime number, and 25 plus 4 is 29 is a prime number. So what we can get from it is, after every 2 or 4 there is a high possibility of prime number, but not anything anywhere else. So we can increase, instead of doing I plus plus, we can do I plus 2 and I plus 4. So for that, what we can do here is, we can create an if condition. If it is a +2, we will create a boolean variable is +2. So one time we will increase by 2, another time we will increase by 4. So we will create a boolean here is +2 and we'll make it as true, like for the first time increase with 2, since we are starting our loop from 5. Now second time we will increase it by 4. So I is equal to I plus 2, and then other case we will make it as I is equal to I plus 4. Okay, so now if we run it, so we can see that our unit tests are failing because the array list that we created is a fixed list and we cannot add any more elements to it. So we will remove that array list and we'll allocate the memory to our prime numbers list, and then we will manually insert the first two prime numbers 2 and 3 there. So we will do prime numbers dot add 2 and prime numbers dot add 3. Now we will try to run again. Now if we run it, so we can see that all our test cases are a pass. So this is a way to further improve it. What we can do is, instead of calculating the first 10,000 and hard coding it, we can ask it from the user, and during the construction of the object, that user can pass that how many actually how many prime numbers they want to calculate at the initialization of the object. So in this case we are doing 10,000 prime numbers, so we'll run it. So once we run it, we will see that all our test cases are pass. So guys, this was a very I hope it was very informative. So this is a way like we do development using tests, and this is how a prime numbers logic can be improved so much. There's still possibility of improvements here, and you can write in comments that how can we improve it further. Thank you.